With our pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've all had a chance to review the agenda. Any additions, corrections, or conflicts of interest?
I did receive a phone call from Nate this morning. He has a kid that is sick and he's trying to get it into a doctor or.
Okay.
Did he give you any?
It might be later or not at all, so.
Okay.
Is he gonna let you know on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can move that around.
Yep.
Can we possibly do citizens input a little earlier so KR can have a minute?
No, we want Kara to sit there.
Okay, I tried to.
No, I mean, we'll play it by ear and kind of see.
Okay.
I've been over it.
Okay, all right.
What's that?
I've been over it.
Okay.
Get some coffee and enjoy.
So the agenda will stand with the change that will move Nate around depending on if he can come in or not. I have a reading and approval of the minutes.
April 28th, 2026, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Craig Dozark, chair presiding. Members present were Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rossberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. On motion, the board recognized claims for public health and approved claims for all other departments. The board approved the hiring of Eric Rasmussen, full-time deputy sheriff's office. The board approved resignation of Tracy Dietz, assessor's office. A motion was made by Rossberg, seconded by Hayden, to approve the Crawford County Secondary Roads Iowa DOT fiscal year 27 budget and program. Motion passed unanimously. At 10 a.m. as advertised, a motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Rossberg, to open the public hearing regarding budget fiscal year 26-27. Motion passed unanimously. There were no written objections. Steve, is it Coleman? Yep. Inquired about some of the accounts budget amounts. A motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rossberg, to close the public hearing at 10:14 a.m. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution. 2026-17, approval of fiscal year 26-27 budget and certification of taxes. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Mulbauer, Hayden, and Rossberg. Motion passed unanimously. At 10:15, as advertised, a motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer, to open the public hearing regarding budget amendment. This says 26-27, but it's actually 25-26. We'll get that fixed in the minutes.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't either. Motion passed unanimously. There were no written or oral objections. A motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rossberg, to close the public hearing at 10:20 a.m. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rossberg, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the following resolution 26-18 appropriations to department. The total of the budget amendment was $71,800. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Mulbauer, Hayden, and Rossberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution 2026-19. Health insurance premiums, plan year 26-27. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Mulbauer, Hayden, and Rossberg. Motion passed unanimously. On motion, duly seconded, board adjourned at 10:32 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
Any further additions or corrections?
Sounded good.
If not,
Last night looked good. I didn't see anything.
minutes will stay approved with that one change that Terry's gonna make. Thank you for catching that. I didn't catch that either when I read through there. We'll move on to supervisor reports. Dave.
I have, well, one is later on in our agenda I'll talk about, but I did have the ECI State Board meeting last Friday. Went over a number of things. it was said, which should be the situation that they want areas to organically merge if it feels fit for what is right. And it's like we've been beating that drum forever.
So that goes back to how we are doing it by telling them that we'll take over these, we'll join with these. We have an emergency meeting tomorrow morning, so I was wondering what that's gonna be about.
Did you guys vote on merging? Because we passed it at the state level and said it's up to you guys. Okay.
We wrote that letter to get approval, and then we actually went so far as to appoint who we want to have on that board to represent. And so we took 2 people from each of the areas, and so
Okay.
they got started that way.
It was brought up, we're still waiting on the governor's office to appoint a state board position. I think they have a list of names, but kind of waiting, so that's a full board. We talked some about our timelines for changes on some of the tools. We got all kinds of, they call it tool O and G and F, and kind of the process of how funding is laid out. Of course, we did pass the funding for this year, upcoming year, to be the same as it was. And I want to start working on how any changes will look. We did talk a little bit about, there was a child fatality a while back. And kind of talked about the conversation about the process and how things should be handled when a situation like that happens. So that everybody is uniform for all the areas to know what to do, who to contact. Or even how to hopefully identify a situation before it happens. But pretty serious. We did form a team to create a policy for adverse situations like that to maybe help with those type of situations. And then, of course, we did talk about a little bit of the Hawk area update and what Gene had brought up. So we got into this tool U and tool G. We amended tool U to allow areas to consolidate, which, if it fits for them, makes sense. Doesn't, we want their input. Tool G, we talked about using discretionary funds to cover shortfalls in auditing. How their silos work, and because they have a cap on their admin fees. And was the audit part of admin or not? And it cuts admin short. So can you use the discretionary funds for auditing? We did say it. I thought that'd be all right. Let's say voted to amend tool G. Fiscal agent uniform areas can you ask for exception to state board? So that has to deal with kind of their funding, how it is. If they have an exception, we said, well, we don't want to have it just blanket. If you have a good reason, at least come to the board and say, hey, can we look at this, and then we can weigh it out.
Did they talk about how they're going to judge the programs that get to stay based on outcomes? Is that something you guys are talking at that level?
So this summer, we'll be getting into more of the process of how.
What programs work and what programs don't?
Right. And to me, really, the local areas know what programs do and don't, so that you have to have flexibility in it.
We have more need than some other counties for certain things, and oral health is one that.
Right, ice miles.
Some people don't understand why we have to fund that, but there's some great stats that support your healthy dental, keeps a healthy.
Like Mike Bundy said years ago, he said, you take a kid and he was in school, take a kid with a toothache, and all of a sudden now they're a behavioral problem. They can't concentrate, they can't study, real fast. They go in a downward spiral just because of a toothache.
Yep. Yeah.
We did have a new chair. Unity Stevens took over from Emily Westgard. She had started kind of moving forward. I mean, I thought it was a good meeting, good discussion on the direction of the state ECI and where we're going to go and how we operate with locals. There's more meetings to come. That's not all I have.
Where's that at, your meeting?
It's actually in Des Moines.
So you zoom in?
I zoom in.
Quite a few zoom?
Most Zoom in. I think there's 5 or 10 in the room.
Any questions for Dave? Kyle?
Well, I'll start off, I got conservation board meeting tomorrow night. County farm, we talked about that last week, about having it surveyed off and having our surveyors do it. But with our new surveyor not being our new engineer not being a certified land surveyor, we have to have it hired out.
He's in
So
the
I don't-
process of studying for that.
Yeah, so I don't,
Yeah, the only certified surveyor in the area is Paul.
or Sunquist,
Sunquist.
or another certified land surveyors. So we'll have to reach out to one of them,
Troy or something.
yeah.
We get a cost estimate before we do that? Or-
I would say we probably have, yes,
That'd be a good idea.
yeah. So I didn't proceed any further with that at that time, so looking for direction from the board.
All right,
We just got used to having that
right,
available, so,
right. We'll just do that on our own.
yeah, and so it kind of took me off guard when we'd have to hire that out.
Did Ben inform you that or?
Tim, I
Okay,
asked him the question,
okay.
so things you get used to.
Yeah.
I did reach out to ISU Extension about water testing kits, and Kathy just called me back with it, like, within the last minute to call her back, so I'll have more on that next week.
So where do those testing kits come from? The DNR?
I don't know, I just reached out to ISU Extension to
ISU
find out how
Extension.
to start.
Okay,
I don't know where to find or
Because they have the radon kits too, right?
possibly, yeah, so I'm inquiring about those to see if we can get
Where
them.
we get them that time at the fire department? Yeah, did the fire, you know,
I
and
can't
then
remember, but
National Fire put them out or something.
yeah,
Maybe it was a state fire.
see if we can
I think it was.
try to get something, I don't know, I wouldn't know how many we would need or whatever to pass out. We used to have stuff to pass out at the fair, it seemed like it'd go quick. So,
Yeah.
well, the fair will be here before you know it, so good thing you're tracking it down now.
yep, and then, well, if everybody knows, I did pass some property tax reform last minute, so I was just kind of reading the highlights. 2%,
Were there highlights?
low
I thought they were all
I was
low
gonna
lights.
say,
Okay.
low
You
light.
found some highlights, let's share them.
2%, hard cap on general funds, so.
Didn't say rural though, so we got a little bit of a
on general-
loophole there.
Rural possibly, yeah.
I'm just being a smart ass.
Yeah.
Did they take away the general,
Supplemental.
no, the amounts that we can go up to,
390.
390.
395 and 350?
395 and 350,
Those are just for this fiscal year, then they go away.
then they go away.
They go away.
Yeah, because then it'll just be a hard cap.
Then the 350 is kind of set at, I think, first one. Let's see, it was 100.5% first year, then the next year it goes to 1 and 2. The 395 goes to 1 and 3/4% first year, and then up to 2 cap after that.
But no
Say
cap
that
on
again.
supplementals, so. The way I understand it,
Say that again.
no cap on supplementals.
No,
No
So
cap.
for things like
but
elections.
It caps itself
it
because
caps.
it's only as
It's
needed.
Limited to
Right.
what it.
only for the.
But that's a win for them. They consider that a win for us. that
Yeah.
No cap.
Well, it's,
Well,
And
I
that's how they're
think
selling it.
one of the big complaints though was
that's
insurance.
the way it's always been.
One of the big
Not like they
complaints.
created some magical wheel or something.
Right.
Sorry.
You should have been there to follow Jerry, so you could tell them that that's not a win.
It's better I'm not.
I think you should go.
So better.
But the thing that disappoints me is in their big no cap on schools.
Yeah,
So what,
so we're not gonna have a very pretty balance sheet at the end of the.
so what's the
budget
taxpayer
session.
really gonna realize for tax savings? And I don't wanna see schools cut, and don't get me wrong on that, but
Supposedly, what's the fund that we had that they're gonna use to supplement schools now that's supposed to help reduce their?
well, they need that. I think they were gonna use that if they cap the schools, but do they even need to use that fund if
If they don't cap.
they don't cap them?
So they could still.
What
run
fund was that? Do you remember?
I can't
I remember
remember.
I'm talking about too, but because they had this magical fund they were gonna use.
But they're gonna fund homeschool.
Yeah, there was some amount goes,
Students
the
that-
student amount or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
you
not a-
go, if you're homeschooling, you get that dollar amount too.
Kyle,
That's the ESA.
I do have it up.
does it say with the reserves, they want at 35%? What that's based off of?
I know, that's what I was, that Ty and
I
I were
couldn't find
talking
that.
about that yesterday, and we weren't sure what the 35% was
Is based
based
on-
off of.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Has to be our student, I don't-
I don't know
I
if
know.
Steve's back from the campground yet either, so we can ask him, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more to come. I'm
Yeah.
sure. What is it, 52 pages?
It's 108
108,
pages.
Oh,
108.
108. Half. I was.
You must have been looking at front and back.
I wasn't looking at the back, I was looking at the front.
I mean, it's 108 pages, and I mean, I can just
Yeah.
read to tell you, I mean, we'll try to read through this and understand it, but it says here, a levy rate per $1,000 of assessed value equal to 1,000 multiplied by the quotient of 101 3/4% of the current fiscal year's actual property tax dollars certified for levy under this subsection 1, divided by the remainder of the total assessed value used to calculate such taxes for the budget year minus value attributable to new valuation. So
That
that's
sounds
something,
easier.
you know, that's
Yeah,
something
sounds
that
way
from that,
easier.
we have to try to figure it out.
Our
but I mean-
software companies will get right on that and make that.
I mean, the
stuff
biggest
happen.
difference, things that I saw when I read through there is they treat counties and cities the same. Schools, no big changes for them. They just have a decrease in potential levies like the PEPA levy, their management fund levy. They used to be capped at this dollar amount. Now it's going to be capped at a lower dollar amount if you decide to exercise that. Hospitals are treated differently. They start the first year at 1 3/4%, then they have a cap of 5%.
5%.
We're at 2%. The homestead tax credit is moving to an exemption. So
Of course.
I stopped in early.
Unfunded mandate.
I stopped in early just to ask Paul. Paul wasn't in today to see if he could figure out if he knew how to calculate how many total tax dollars currently in Crawford County the citizens are getting as a credit, because that'll now be our responsibility as an
Mhm.
exemption.
That hits us on both ends. I think
Exactly.
Paul said, not only are we capped,
Right.
the exemption will take away revenue to start with.
And then if the CPI is less than 4%, we're capped at 2%. CPI is between 4 and 6, we're capped at 3. CPI 6 to 8, we're capped at 4. If it's over 8, you're capped at 5. And so, I mean, that's going to be, I think the biggest challenge moving forward if we have high inflation areas and, you know, inflation goes up 6% and we can only go up 3% and everything we're buying is up 6%. It's hard. You can see the handwriting on the wall there. Just going to be some things you won't be able to purchase, won't be able to
So
do.
can we start sending the bills for all the unfunded mandates?
We can, I don't
We
think they
can,
will
we
be
always
responded
can
at
do
all.
that, but.
I mean, and the auditors, there's a lot of things with the auditor's name in there. The assessor's office is treated just like we are. So they deal with the same caps that we are. Those are just the main highlights, I guess, that I saw when I read through there. And they're changing the assessor residential is becoming multi-residential. I'm not sure what that change means, but there's no longer residential, it's just going to be multi-residential. And it seems like they're changing some of the rollbacks
It's multi when
based
you
on
add
age.
condos and stuff.
What's that?
Is the multi when you add the condos
More
and
than one,
apartments and all
more than
that?
one resident under one roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So everything's just gonna be considered multi-residential now.
That's what,
That makes no sense. Is Paul at training today? Is that? where he's
yeah,
at?
well, when I went in, I started to say he was at a meeting.
I would hope it's.
Well,
So that-
I assumed it was.
So it's a
Yes.
$4,850 exemption. The homestead.
The homestead 60.
Yeah. Converts homestead credit.
Right, but it also determines based on what your age is and what the valuation of the property is,
Okay.
that caps that. So that's between 0 and 150,000 is 4,850. If it's 150 to 300, I think it's 6,000. If it's over 300, then or 350, then it has another amount.
And it left the
That's
seniors
homestead
and military
65.
exemptions the way they
Homestead
were.
65 of the
Didn't
homestead.
adjust that.
Because remember they have homestead 65 that we got a couple years ago? Did they change that?
They changed that. Now I think it starts at 60. It's between 60 and 70 is one number, 70, 80 is another, 80 to 90. And if you can make it over 100, you get 100%
I can't
the
wait.
exemption,
I
right?
can't wait.
So that's what you have to look forward to, Gene.
I'm in that 70, so I'm good.
So, I mean, those were some things that I saw.
I don't know what the-
Quickly tried, just quickly read through it, but you can see it's confusing to read, so.
Oh, for sure.
It's not
What is
easy.
the 718 does stay in play for what, a year
Couple
yet?
more years.
A year or 2 year yet?
I think 1 year for
One
sure.
year, 1 year
It's
for
the
sure.
homestead.
I mean, they don't specifically talk about 718 in the bill
Million a year
that I saw.
to buy down.
Yeah, I thought it
levy.
said somewhere it said at least a year yet,
This is,
but anyway.
oh gosh.
Fun will be had by all. I think it used to say in the newspapers when they used to have the section where it talked about everybody's birthday party in town and always the
I remember
last
that.
sentence was fun was had by all.
Yeah,
I remember
I
that.
remember reading
Yeah.
those.
All
yes.
the social calendar in
Yes.
the newspaper, that part.
The irony over there is the
Aunt Mary
longest.
wrote that at the end of every one of them, didn't she?
Yeah.
That was
Fun was
fun.
had by all.
So Gene, you have anything?
I have a lot.
Cheer us up, cheer us up.
But I'll leave some time for Ty. I went with Kim down to a public health system alignment update in Atlantic so that I could hear and ask questions. I was the only elected official there. I thought there'd be a whole bunch of us, but there was just me. Felt maybe
But it didn't be, I mean, last week we were the only two at one meeting,
yeah.
so.
They have the
I
tar
gotta
and
stop
feathers.
boring.
Is it you?
I didn't even know I was going till the day before, so when I got out, I was going. But I think the takeaway, I'll try to just, it's supposed, it's this revitalization, I don't think it's a revitalization, the alignment is going to be completed by fiscal year 29. I have a question mark by that because we're only funded through the fiscal year 27 stays the same. I just wrote down some quotes, or I wrote them, oh, here we go. Will there still be local boards of health? We don't know what we don't know. Good answer. But yeah, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
You know, don't tell us things that, but what they're trying to do, and I truly think that the approach that they took, other than the way they did mental health, is they're getting all of these providers together and having input. What doesn't work? What do you see as the problems? And there's good conversation. These, and it was 90% gals, I'll say gals, that are working. And Kim is very vocal in those. She went to the one in Fort Dodge and she went to this one also so that she can hear the questions on both sides, if they're the same and, you know, if they're staying consistent wherever they go. But I did appreciate the people from the state that were really trying to explain it in layman's terms, what this means. They're trying really hard, duplicate efforts and administrative red tape. They're trying to alleviate that. Lack of consistent statewide strategy to address leading health concerns. They want to reduce system redundancies, improve collaboration, coordination, communication among partners, a well-coordinated system with clear access points for Iowans, measuring funding tied to measurable outcomes. And that's what we talk about even over in early childhood. We have to start to be able to decide if the money we're spending has outcomes. Is it producing what we need it to do, or is it just a bunch of red tape? You know, so I appreciate that part of it, that they are trying to get rid of all the red tape and not have duplicate efforts. And so our region will be the same as the public health region. So it's going to still be these same counties, which ECI will be almost the same counties. We're going to add Dickinson, Emmett, Clay, and Palo Alto. And we're going to take out these, you know, so they'll be similar. So the people that we deal with will be similar people that we know that all kind of have the same mission. So that was a good meeting to go to. I felt. And it was good to, you know, just be in the car with Kim traveling down to just get updated on how things are going over there and what changes. And so it's kind of a stay tuned, but no worries until after fiscal year 27. So there we go. Everything stays the same. And then we don't know, we don't know. Other than that, I had an early childhood meeting. I think I did. Yep, I did. Everybody gives me such paper. I really don't need all this paper. But I just got an email that we have an emergency with the big red exclamation point meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I think what Dave talked about is maybe what we're gonna have to hash over tomorrow real quick. So with that, I'll pass this around so you can kind of look at, don't read my notes because they won't make any sense to any of you, but lots of stuff, lots of changes again, but I do feel they're taking a more positive and they're learning from, we'll call them mistakes that mental health made, but they have a little bit more foresight on how to make this be more user-friendly and fulfill the goal that we're out to get and not be chasing our tails. So that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. All right.
Okay, all right. Pass that way, Jean. Is she done?
Yeah, I'm gonna be done.
Okay.
I'm not really done.
Well, my weekend, other than the event that went on last Sunday night, I was trying to keep up with what was going on in Des Moines. And did fairly well. I will kind of ask you a couple, Craig, do you have any idea what first home accounts are?
No.
That's miscellaneous provision. I've never heard of that. I don't know what that even means, first home accounts. Okay, we'll have to look that up. Increased EMS levy. Did anybody notice that?
I seen that, it goes
From
up
75 cents to $1.50.
to doubles it.
Double. Which,
Well,
you know,
Steve called.
What stuff we voted on?
well, that's the stuff that we allowed them to proceed to, if we're gonna take it to the ballot. That's what the MSAC did.
I seen that, and I asked Cindy Crudoff about that.
Yeah. So that'll be something we're taking into consideration. I wanted to bring that up because you guys didn't say it, since that's something that we're currently working. I'm gonna leave the rest of that stuff alone, but anyway, yesterday, I wasted a lot of day just looking up things about property tax, because I don't know, I'm a cause and effect guy. So I gotta know why it's broken. Otherwise, how the hell are you fixing it? To me, that's the problem in Des Moines right now. We're trying to fix something. We ain't really sure what's broken. We just know we're spending too much. So I started looking up property tax stuff nationally, statewide, and obviously county. First, I kind of looked at nationally, and I asked Gemini about national property taxes and who's the highest and who's the lowest and why is that? New Jersey is at 2.2%. Let me start this by saying we're at 1.32 for our county, and that's including everybody. I think 1.32, maybe it was 1.2. I'll get to that in the bottom here. That's in the bottom part of my research. But anyway, New Jersey is like a 2.2% tax rate, and that's a county average. That's the state average in this case. All right, Illinois is 2.7. I was kind of surprised that Texas had high property tax, but then I realized that they don't have personal income tax. So this is one of the things that helps offset that. So, and I was talking to Craig about this a little earlier. The lowest one was the one that kind of shocked me, because I thought Texas or Florida had been the lowest. And neither one of them actually sit in that for property tax. The one that was the lowest was Hawaii. So I'm still digging into that. Why are they so low? I mean, obviously the first thing that comes to your mind is tourism, which they got tons of. Hotel, motel taxes, probably just blow your mind. I could call the guys down there right now. I don't think Barry went, but Terry Wilbur and some of my other buddies from NACO went. I could call them and ask them what the hotel, motel tax is right now. They're probably bitching about it too. Yep. Anyway, but they were clear down at 0.27 to 0.28. But you only think about it. It's like West Virginia, because West Virginia is actually a low income tax, low property tax rate. What are your secondary roads? They don't have that many. They're all mountains. Florida or Hawaii is the same way. So their county expenses are probably lower, and since property tax is primarily a county expense. So anyway, that kind of Hawaii, Alabama was number 2 from the lowest. This is from the lowest. Arizona. But you know, what are you doing out in the middle of the desert? You aren't building a lot of road. You just follow the scorpion trails or sidewinder trails and get where you go, right? Louisiana, that one kind of, but they're in oil / tourism / riding around on where them water boats, airboats. That's what they ride around on. You don't have a lot of road maintenance there. Delaware. I don't know what's going on there. Biden must have been throwing a bunch of federal money over there so they could keep the property tax down. I'm just being a smart ass on that. There was just a lot of key factors, you know, I mean, but nothing that really stood out to me. And I'm still digging on why nationally. I might have to go clear down to each count, you know, the county averages in the national level. So Iowa's tax rates across our 99 counties, the average property tax is 1.29 to 1.49, and we're at the 132, I think, yet. Hold on, so I can get that right now. Where did I go to Crawford? Anyway, let me just keep moving here so I don't get lost in my thoughts. Anyway, the key property tax details, effective rates 1.39 to 1.15, which is what I just said, 1.3. Counties like Dallas and Polk and Pot County are high, and they say it's due to their urban, so their cities are probably pulling them down. Ours was at like I said, I think ours was Crawford County's 1.28 this year. And Denison is 1.69, the city itself. What they got to pay for and all that happy stuff, I guess. I mean, I didn't go into the details of why Denison's there.
That's
You know, and that's the thing, is we got to keep digging down in here because we're going to need to have some root cause. But, you know, we were talking about alternative cash streams and different things. I mean, if they take away our monies that help build stuff, you know, so if we got to drag down our reserves, so that's, you know, we ain't gonna be able to use that for an alternative source of revenue, because I was gonna bring up, maybe we try to look at some of these different accounts. Obviously, it'd be a little bit hard to use Thrive since we actually have a conflict of interest there, but you know, we got some of them that are, I mean, when I do my money markets or whatever you want to call them, some of them are pretty damn minimal risk, if almost close to no risk. Now there's some of it that you can make, I mean, I got some of it that's making up to 15%, you know, but they're riskier. So you have an ugly year, you know, you bite it and hold on and ride the storm out, hopefully. But I mean, maybe those were
there's
things.
some rules in place as to how public entities can invest.
And that was what I was gonna say. We gotta dig into that and see if there's any that we can do, you know.
Right.
That's what Sherry already does, doesn't she?
Does she invest in the stock market?
Well, she does iCape,
She does, I pay.
But that's-
Pate, yeah, iPate, and tried to make something together with iCap there. That's pretty good, wasn't it? And then she does some local CDs, but I don't know, you know, to me, I don't want to waste taxpayer money, and you know, I ain't gonna take it to Vegas with me, but you know what I'm saying? To help pay bills, or otherwise, the one big stat that I drug up that I really thought was the most interesting. Now we're 801 miles of road for us that we're responsible for. Does that sound right?
I was closer to 1,200, 800 miles of gravel and paved, and then there's 400. or
800
something.
paved?
Yeah, I think there's 1,200.
So 12 total.
Yeah.
Okay, so the total nationally, what do you think that is? Because I didn't even bother to look up ours because I thought I had it in my head. So it's actually, we're at a lot better or worse. We're more to take care of, 600. So I mean, we're a high, that's why our secondary roads why we got so many motor graders compared to what I talked to some other counties that they got and stuff like that. You know, I mean, we got a lot more that we have to maintain. So there were some of the things I've been starting to dig into what's the cause of our higher property taxes, because all things being equal in the state of Iowa, we're still one of the better, or you know, we're not in the high range, you know. I mean, that's dreadful. Iowa's a top 10 state as far as property taxes. So that's why they're up there in the state house fighting on this. But I don't think they've really dug down into the roots of it, because you know, we all know that schools cost us a bunch. I mean, they're the biggest part in just about every county in the country, especially not on your averages, who's paying what. So like we all said earlier, you know, you really don't want to take anything away from your kids. I would like to see them where it's going. I mean, how's it getting used best? I mean, you guys are two school board guys here. I'm sure you got a better idea how that budget works, you know, compared to what we know from this budget, you know. But, I mean, there's gotta be we're not ranking high enough to be one of the highest spenders. That's my point in education. So there's another root cause that we gotta get to. What are we really spending on? And you know, you hear, when you start asking some people about it, right? Oh, you gotta spend all this money on private schools. Yeah, but we just started doing that. And we were already a high cost versus low return, I guess, if you want to say, or lower return. I don't want to say low, but lower return.
Yeah, I think they should dive into it. And the thing that always bugged me when I was on school board is you could get funding for a school bus.
I remember Raleigh talking
60
about that.
passenger bus, when there's 6 kids live on it, or to ride on the bus, but you couldn't get help buying a van
Yeah.
to haul them 6 kids around.
Yeah.
But you could go buy a 60 passenger bus.
Yeah. See, so that's the kind of things that I'm wondering about. I remember Raleigh talking about that. That's why it kind of came into my head.
You know, those are the things that, like you said, where's the money going?
Yeah. We got to get into some cause and effect here. So anyway, I just started digging into that. I didn't have any of this printed up for you, but I mean, I was kind of just going through that, you know, and
Well, I appreciate that, Ty, you digging into that, but it seems like we as supervisors can dig into that and present all this data to the lawmakers in Des Moines, but they never asked us for our input on this stuff.
well, that's my new ISAC priority. I'm gonna push on that. And you know, when I was talking to Abby about that out there at the event on Saturday or Sunday, excuse me.
I mean,
I was talking to her about that. I said, you know, I was talking to Andrea, and Andrea said that Abby's been down in their ear a lot, in particular in Dawson's, and Senator Dawson. I said, how come they're not, they should be asking you, can you send us five supervisors or 5 auditors, whatever bill they're sitting there working on. Why aren't they, can you get me 5 of your auditors that would probably be best to represent for this, whatever the bill is they're working on. I want them to testify in front of this committee. You know, I mean, we send the ones that are local to Des Moines, but they're always hearing from the Polk County or the Story County ones. They're not hearing from, I mean, they need to hear from us out here in the rural. I mean, Steve calls us, but you know, you talk to some of them other supervisors across the state, unless they run into them at a function, they hardly ever talk to their representative or senator. That's sad, really is, because we should be a team. I mean, they're at a different level than us, but we should be a team trying to take care of Iowa. Not just tax dollars, but all of Iowa. But tax dollars in particular, because that's something that hits the kitchen table a lot quicker.
There's definitely a disconnect between local and state.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know why. You know, we're serving the same people, so it should be easy to, you know, draw that logic together. And I think that's what we need to do. So that's going to be kind of one of my little priorities to push down on our board this week.
it does work when you get a group of people working together and engaging your lawmakers. Is the Yes Center teamed up and we did talk to enough that we didn't get the equalization bill passed.
Yeah, there was all them detention centers came together. So it works. I mean, it's just like lobbying. That's what it is. But it's also getting the information from where it's actually happening, or where they perceive the problem to be. Go down there and like I said, you got to get to the root cause. I mean, otherwise you're just throwing darts at a wall, and hell, so far, when some of the bills that we've watched them pass, not many darts are sticking. You know, I mean, we're going back to fix it. Now, when I started reading through that, some of that, we're going to be back fixing this son of a gun in 3 to 5, if it lasts that long.
And one thing with the whole property tax deal, though, that is really disappointing to me is the unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of narrative and rhetoric that counties and cities are bad budgeters and that we're the problem. It's like when you look at what we actually subsidize with property tax for the services the state requires, and they didn't even bring that up.
Nope. That's why I said cause and effect. If we're sitting there in a committee assignment telling them about this stuff, Dave, that's probably going to start changing some minds before it even gets, if it's at the subcommittee, before it even gets to the whole committee. And damn sure before it hits the floor. You know, I mean, then you'll actually start putting some ideas out there that may actually fix some of these problems, as opposed to just creating the next series of them. I mean, Kyle's paperwork that he handed off made it through the Senate. House wouldn't even take it up.
There's the frustration.
It's my point, is
I know,
there's
I know,
that
I'm
we're,
feeling the
And
pain.
you know, like your District 3, when you chaired up there,
Mhm.
and we had a good room of legislators there.
Yep.
It's like they heard us talk and what we talked about in our concerns.
Mhm.
And maybe it's more on us, but you think when a bill would come up, they'd say, hey, I had a room full of supervisors that talked about this. Maybe I should call them and see what they do.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often.
well, I will take, like you said, Dave, you started to hit on where I was gonna go next. We need to be more active. And that's why I said Andrea needs, or whatever, when they start to put a bill that, boy, that's, when that goes to subcommittee, I'm gonna go, and I'm saying Andrea now because of the, you know, anyway, because she's our boss down there and seems to be the lead on the, you know, on the legislative. So I think that if she could go in there and say, listen, let me get 5 or 10 supervisors from across the state up here, and you can talk to as many as you want. But I'll have them up here for your subcommittee meeting so that you can talk to them and see how this will affect them. You know, I think that's a benefit to us, big time.
But does that possibly go back to the, if you've seen one county in Iowa, you've seen one, you've seen one?
That's why I just gave 5 to 10.
Yeah, but that's the struggle that we have, is just because it's an issue and a problem in this county. And, you know, our legislators realize it, but they can't get anybody to even listen to what's going on here. They have to have this big group that's having that same problem, and to get five supervisor groups that have the same issues, I think would be hard, because everybody's got something that's.
I don't, you know, on the little stuff, you're right.
Well, not,
But
they're
if
not
you
little to
get, I
this
mean,
county.
property tax ain't little. We're all sitting out here struggling with that.
But what's little, maybe to them, is not little to us, and that's kind of what the problem is. We may have something that's really in, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Well, no, not really.
It does.
Whenever I've actually had problems, I went right to the source.
Explain it again.
I mean, when the ELDs were gonna go in the livestock trucks, I knew that's gonna be a bad idea. I got a group of guys together that wanted to go up and voice their opinion. We went to Washington and we met with everybody. We met with everybody. I mean, we had meetings at the White House. Everybody, we went, and when we left there, that got changed. You know, so you can do it. But that's my point, is maybe we need to do more reaching that way. They came to our District 3, like you said. Maybe we need to go up there when they're in session, when we know their bill and they're alerting us. And I mean, lately I was watching and go back and watch the little legislative videos that Jamie and all them were putting out. And I was in the last one again, but I think that might be smarter if we pay better attention to that stuff and say, hey, there's something. I mean, even if one of us just did it on our own time, drove down to Des Moines on a Wednesday and said, listen, we need to talk about this. You know?
I mean, does it make you wonder, because it does me anyway, that, you know, us, along with every other county in the state of Iowa, pay into ISAC.
Mhm.
And we do that, so you or I don't have to spend a Wednesday and drive down to Des Moines. Because they're supposed to be representing us. They take our taxpayer money.
Yep.
All the auditors, the sheriff's association, all those people do that, and yet we're not seeing a return. We feel we need to do more of it.
Mhm.
Maybe one of the things we'll be cutting is our membership to those organizations if our budgets shrink. You know,
Also,
or
on
maybe,
those subcommittee meetings, Kai, they don't give you a lot of notice when they are.
Yeah.
So you better have a roster of 20 people if you want 5 there, because I've been there on representing what's my passion, and I find out the day before it's at a subcommittee meeting.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, if you go to those and OK Henderson quotes you, you're gonna get more publicity that way than you will go to a legislative coffee, but they do not give you notice like you think they should. And that's where, if you are paying those associations and you say you wanna know, she better or he better tell you I think they have to have published, it's 48 hours or 36 hours before the subcommittee meeting.
Okay.
But you better have a roster of people, because not everybody can
That's a
drop the
great
hat and be there.
that's a great point, KR.
They purposely do that for that reason, and then they limit you to 2 minutes. You know me, I asked the person who wasn't gonna speak, I want his 2 minutes, and they gave them to me, and the subcommittee did not like that. So they do not give you as much notice.
But them are some of the things that I think we need to consider,
I think
we
that's
need to
a
be talking about. I mean, just.
great point. Our supervisors,
No.
the only ones that don't have
Hi, man.
a lobbyist down there. The supervisors, I think we've talked with it.
Yep, you bet, we've talked about that.
Maybe we, instead of paying ISAC, we get a supervisor, a lobbyist.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben?
Yes, I guess, start right off the bat.
Oh, I get you now. That makes sense. Right. Pick for obvious reasons.
Yes, I was too.
Can't seem to get one.
I know it. It's supposed to warm up and so I thought I gotta get my winter away.
I've got a real good remedy for that. A show.
Coats or shell, yeah. I can see that.
Thought help the guys on the bridge, we'll get one quick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Well, to begin, the HMA project, we do have a upcoming pre-construction meeting scheduled for Thursday, at 10 o'clock here. I don't know if I'll be available to be there. Casey may be heading that off. Tim, I believe, is gonna be there. Got a funeral to attend myself. I'm gonna reach out to the contractor if they got any questions for me or discuss any concerns I have with them ahead of time, ahead of the pre-construction meeting. That a lot of it's more geared towards Casey with his inspection and kind of what that we need for the federal aid requirements on that. So something that I think they're gonna kind of let them handle it. They got it scheduled to be in the area that day. They like a little bit heads up, so it's all scheduled. We're gonna just kind of keep to the date, and I'll follow up with them in that regard. But we know a little bit more about their kind of their timing, but they're pretty well set on the end of June timeframe starting and going from there. But should be straightforward project as far as that's concerned.
I was just gonna, still bugs me that there's 3 kind of open holes with the fiber company going south of Charter Road.
That's Frontier.
Oh,
Frontier.
okay.
You know Frontier.
Well,
They can
yeah.
still bother you, but now you got an explanation why it's there.
That explains a lot.
See?
I've tried to get a hold of them, and nobody wanted to.
All right,
Really?
I'll reach out to
right
them.
on the shoulder of our road, then we're gonna get our road work done and
I'll reach out.
Be
to
nice
them,
to
tell
all
them we'll
clean up
close it
before we
our
have the
project starts.
project
So,
started. So when they're done with the shoulder and the stuff, we don't have to come in there and dig our shoulders back up.
Yeah.
It's been that way for about a year now.
I'll reach out to them. I'll tell them what we're done before our project gets started, so. They should be able to get
You
that.
got your own bat line, Tim, don't seem to work.
They're filling their holes.
Maybe
I mean, as honored as people are around Charter Road, I can't believe that they haven't been yanked out of here. I mean, they're right on the shoulder. I mean, with all the big farm equipment and stuff, it's amazing. I haven't been caught by something.
Run over.
We got Charter Road. I did reach out to Staley, anyway, from the city of Charter Oak that wants to attend the pre-construction meeting. If they want somebody there, certainly,
Is here at the courthouse?
yes. Yeah,
Here at the courthouse.
Could certainly stop in, if they have any questions or whatnot. So
What time?
What time?
it's 10 o'clock. I did reach out to Peggy and let her know that, so. But yeah, we'll know more then. Great crew, they're up on F Avenue. They got about a couple weeks up there before they finish up on that dirt stretch of roadway and then probably go around the corner doing a small bar, but they're still up in that neighborhood. Plugging away, bridge crew, they're starting the bridge down on 390th Street today. They're moving some equipment down that direction. The first bridge they've gotten to build here since we did that one just out of Vail, that DOT bridge, that 3-span with the DOT section. So
They're
they're,
gonna build a whole new, they're taking it all out and
yes,
hitting us with it.
yeah, they're ready to get back on the bridge.
So
So
they're making it legal width, 24 foot, legal weight, so with that.
Are you gonna put a ramp in there so we can Yeah, that one's out.
Give us a word.
It's probably gonna have to be a little bit higher just because it's a different style of deck and all that stuff and keep the height underneath it, the water flows, so.
Sometime too, we talked about Keith and Kirkhoff right there with this bank stabilization and.
Yes,
Well,
Yeah.
call me and we'll take a look at it.
you bet. Sometime this week, I'll get down that direction. Um, So yeah, roadside, they're out seeding yet for another week or two here, and then they're gonna start their mowing ahead of Memorial Day and spraying some bridge guardrails. The guys who aren't out mowing will be doing some spraying of the guardrails, keep getting the vegetation down on those, but next, just the seal coat application, I did go around with State Belt and kind of take a look at our seal coat roads and see where we got, have the most, where we want to go a little bit, do a little bit of seal coat applications. I think we're gonna do Nelson Park Road going up the hill there. The east-west section going into the park looks pretty good. We're gonna leave that alone, but coming up the hill, it looks good, but it's showing where it's gonna start falling apart if we don't keep up a maintenance application on that. I know the other area I would have otherwise done would be Booyer Boulevard out there. It's looking rough, but we're talking the possibility of doing an overlay in the upcoming years on that with asphalt. So I'm holding off on doing the seal coat on that and gonna keep up on that Nelson Park Road with what we have budgeted for doing some seal coat and some various patching out on South Main Loop out there going by the cemetery. We've got some patch areas that we're gonna do above the radio tower and the Dow City Cemetery, the seal coat, a couple areas that we're gonna do just some patches on. So spring application of dust control, they'll be starting next week on their applications. Still reaching out to them. They're supposed to give us 3 days heads up to let us know when they're coming. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We just assume that they're gonna start next week. And we'll have our sites shaped up for them. The blade operators, we print them off a map with all the addresses that typically get it. They're usually pretty familiar with them. And what we'll do is we'll get the sites bladed up if it needs it, get shaped up. If there needs to be some rock in front of them, before it goes on, we'll get them all ready. And then when they come in, they'll be able to do the dust control, and then hopefully we'll have to touch them for as long as we can. We try not to get out there and blade through them. They have their maps of where the sites are, the blade operators. We try to leave it undisturbed as long as possible, but our policy has always been, once it does get to the point where the road is too rough, it needs to be maintained, we'll do what we can to not touch it, but eventually we're gonna have to blade through them. And I know there's always discrepancy on, some folks say we go through them too early, but we try to do best we can as far as leaving it out there for folks, so we know they pay for it. So, but gravel hole, we got that up and coming close towards the end of the month, right after Memorial Day is when we ramp that up. The plan is to start hauling out of the Anthem pit. We want to haul out of there and cover the west part of the county there, kind of have that area covered before the project, L51 overlay project begins. So we're out of everybody's hair in that regard. But and then probably that third week in June, probably be done hauling out of Anthem, move up to Lakeview or Stratford is our plan for right now. So and I'm pretty sure it'll work out that way. That's gravel in that regard too. So that's what they're planning on. So. And then just a reminder, we're this Friday is the start of the 410 working schedule. But so they'll work their 8-hour days this week. Friday will be off of them, and then next week they'll start working their 410 schedule. So and that'll go on till I forget when, September. The exact date I don't remember.
Labor Day, right?
Right around there. Yeah, I think a little bit past Labor Day, but I'm not certain on that, what the exact date is.
Yeah, usually line it up with pay periods, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
But I mean, we've done this last couple of years now, or 2, 3 years. Guys seem to like it, and I ain't complaints, they don't, but Jackie still stays on 8-hour days, he takes us Fridays to work down the shop. It just, so we have somebody down there if deliveries come in but yeah, it seems to work well, so we'll continue to do it as long as. And then, the only other thing, Hunger Canyon's meeting on May 15th, Craig, I didn't know if that's.
I will not be attending. I'll be gone that day.
Okay.
So I already let Paul know.
Sure. And it's one I may have a separate meeting, or do I need to go to on that Friday? I'm not sure about Tim, but we might, Crawford County may not be present at that Hunger Canyon's meeting, but we'll see, so. That's.
Any questions for Ben?
all I've
I have a
got.
real quick one.
Okay.
Did you get out to look at that 235th with that new fence line? Did
I have looked at it. Hard to say what, I don't know exactly where the fence was. The
I know.
first time I've been out there, there's new fence in, and I see where they did some shaping. As
Yeah.
far as what I can tell, the work that he did doesn't look bad. The fence, I don't know if it's where the old fence was or if it's go closer. Just looking at from aerials, it's very possible it's moved closer. It's kind of where he has to put it to have a fence. I don't know if there's a crutch there. There again, that's a road. I don't know how much.
Did you get a chance to talk to the landowner that sent in the question?
I do not. If you want me to visit with them.
That would be nice,
Right.
because
That would be
I've been in
nice.
communication a little bit, and then I drove out there, and I just drove out, so I had my eyes on it, but I said, we're gonna go look at it. I'll just touch base with them and see if he wants to visit with you, and I'll go with you if you want to.
I guess in my opinion, it's certainly up to us how big of a deal we want to make, or how big of a deal it is to.
Yeah, and that's,
There probably is, it probably is in.
We just had some
Closer than
questions.
it should be, but without knowing where the existing fence is, it's one of those, more like a trail than it is a road, but
Right.
it is a road,
Yeah,
so,
it's-
but, I'm not sure how much involvement they want us
I
to
don't-
get involved.
I'll
So,
follow up
but I
and see.
suppose, I guess that takes some guys from you on how big of a deal we want to make
Yeah.
it, so.
Sounds good.
Road of that
So
nature.
Jean, you'll follow up?
I will.
Okay,
I will.
all right, thank you.
See.
Certainly, find me after the meeting here, we can just.
Okay, I'll stop down.
Consistency.
Are we, will you be there after the meeting?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I'll stop down.
Consistency, Ben.
Yep.
That's-
Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, policy.
That's, I guess that's how much I want you to follow up on it. Consistency.
Okay.
Anything else?
I guess that'd be my suggestion.
I got it.
Thank you.
Oh, did you get a hold of that culvert? That Pine culvert. I called you about from Camp Ransom called me.
Oh.
By Phil
Yeah, I'm
Stratton's
drawing a blank,
corner.
I'm sorry, Dave.
By Phil Stratton's corner, on 141.
Oh, yeah, they did, but they were actually going out to dig that out that day when
Oh, they did.
I called right after I talked to you, and, they're heading out there to do it, so should be taken care of. I guess I haven't driven out there to
I
see if they dug it
I
out,
went around down
but
the reed, so I didn't go by it today, so.
you bet. No, that should be handled.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you for coming.
Good
Good morning.
everybody. Morning.
It's a little chillier out there than yesterday. Yesterday was deceiving. Well, good morning. I don't think I have a whole lot today, but just wanted to come and give a little update. It's been a few months. To the point that I'm not even sure what we last talked about because the last couple months have been so busy. Biggest thing is Darren is up here in Denison now, 2 days a week. So Wednesdays and Thursdays, he's up here from 12 to 4. He has been spending probably the first hour of that day making himself public out in places as well. He's been going and talking to people. He sent me a long email the last couple weeks of all the places he's gone. So he's trying to go out, introduce himself to places here in Denison. We've got some flyers going up that talk about the fact that he's here, what times he's here, those types of things. So just running around there. He did go with Nika to the
Child Safety Fair.
Thank you, the Child Safety Fair last week, 2 weeks ago. Out here, they had that our hidden plain sight camper that we do down there, up there. It had quite a few people there. We're challenging the sheriff's office and the police department to some finding adventures in there, so that was some good fun, but, had that up here and went to the Crawford County Coalition. Nika does all that, so she's been taking Darren to the Crawford County ones, getting him out here a little bit more public. Myself, I went and met with, medical staff out at Crawford Hospital, just to kind of, let them know that we now have something in Denison, so a little bit closer. We do have a good partnership with them already, so Aaron Muck and the staff out there, we talk quite a bit as it is, so just making sure we're a little bit more inlet with what the providers potentially could need, and that did lead to some good discussions and some services that they would like to see. So moving along on those parts, but Darren is up here. We've signed up to be have a booth out the first week of June at Summer Nights to make sure.
Good.
We'll be, Nika and I will be there, and maybe Darren, he's still looking at that, but we'll have a couple of us out there just to kind of help still publicize that we are here. What can we do? Where can we see things? So that's work. We did get some signage on the building yesterday.
Good, I'll drive by.
And I have a big welcome flag coming, that Darren's gonna put out when he's in there to try and help people know when he's there, when he's not. So that should be here, the next week or two. So just trying to
Yeah.
get some publicity, and
Have you had any walk-ins or anything like that?
Darren has that tracker, and I do apologize. I did not
Oh,
look at
that's
that
okay.
before I came up. I should have.
That's
He,
all right.
he has had people in there because I have had to set some services up from patients from him. So he is getting people in there. In addition to that, we are transporting, as we've talked about, we do have multiple patients from Denison that we are transporting down to Manning now. We've expanded it a little bit. We've had a patient that wanted to come for residential, but didn't have a ride, so we went and picked him up. And there's a patient next week that just needs an evaluation, but he doesn't have a ride, so we're gonna come get him and break him down there for that evaluation. So I've got a transportation person that we've hired who's on the road a minimum of 2 days a week, if not more. Have the ability to flex around quite a bit, so we're making sure that we stay full staffed. So if somebody calls in and says, hey, I need to come today, we're working to get it done.
And that's always been the concern and the problem, that when a person gets to that point, they don't want to wait 2 weeks.
No.
And they've burned up all their family and friends for rides, and it's,
Yep, so I know we talked over the years, transportation, prevention, services are our biggest things. We're trying to combat those. Crawford is our pilot location for the transportation services. We've already had requests from other counties. We've been able to accommodate a little bit, but the focus is in Crawford right now. So
thank you.
we were able to run to Esterville and pick somebody up a few weeks ago because we had the staff to do it, so we did it. So I have a feeling it will continue to expand, but for the first year, we're kind of focusing on Crawford.
And we knew it would be a little slow getting the word out there. We just knew it would, but we
That's how
had to
things
start
work.
someplace, and we
So-
appreciate your getting a grant for us, and
Yeah, just trying to be more present to see if that helps. We've signed up for a lot more. In the past, like I said, when I first started coming here, our bed list was weeks out, months out. Now it's not as bad, and we've kind of shifted our focus to make sure we're focusing on local first, as well. But our bed list weight isn't as large with all the facilities that have opened up in Iowa the last 5
that's
years,
good.
which is good in ways. So now we've never really had to advertise or be public because people just always knew where we were at, found us. So that is a new adventure. Nika, myself, and Darren, my staff get a lot of voluntold opportunities of being out of things. So we're doing the mental health walks this year and making sure we just have more booths and information out there than what we've done in the past, focusing on obviously on our 4 counties, but with Darren being up here, people have brought to him like, hey, we have this event coming up, we have this event coming up. It's like, perfect. Let us know where to be, when to be, and between the 3 of us, one of us is getting to most of these events.
Very approachable, and he,
Yes.
was very forthcoming with why he's good at what he does, and so.
He enjoys talking, enjoys spending time with people. He's a very people person, which is
Yes, he
good for him.
Yes, he
So anybody that walks in is met with a smile and some options.
And he's got a been there, done that attitude.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, no,
I
he,
had a really good conversation with him over.
Yeah,
the
yeah, we were
days.
popping popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, so I think he's got some really good ideas. He really wants to see more in the jail system. So I know he's been working with Roger Rasmussen.
Good.
Him and Roger have a good relationship, thankfully.
Thankfully.
So, yeah, so he's working with Roger. He'd like to be able to offer services in the jail here. So him and, I know they're tackling that, they're working on that. There's lots of obviously rules and regulations with that, but it is another place that we can hit. So him and Roger are working on.
Call that red tape.
There's ways,
Questions for Taylor?
yes, and he,
It just seems like, I mean, which is what I expected, but hit the ground running, get your
Yep.
ducks in a row. Now you're trying to expand and just,
Trying to make sure that people know we're there. Darren likes to be busy. He wants to be busy. He wants to help people in every way that we can without obviously breaking any rules. So we just gotta make sure we're following the rules and regulations, but
Yeah.
he's ready
I mean,
to
as
do
a-
more.
You hear about the mental health, certainly as from a state issue, that they really blame the state government for the problem that we have. And when you can address it from a local level, I think you can fix more of it. And you can, than you can from the state level. And so I think it's nice to address it from the level that we're addressing it at.
I think our counties around here are definitely, like, I've seen more providers like myself pop up. We've seen more mental health therapists pop up in the last handful of years, which is great. And figuring out ways to accommodate the patients that can't get to you, whether that's telehealth or transportation or things like that. My recovery center, we don't do a whole lot of telehealth because it's really hard to address substance abuse via telehealth. Not that we can't do it, and we do in certain situations that warrants, but I'd rather drive up here and get a patient and bring them to us than offer telehealth.
Yeah.
But we have it if we have to. So there are options. Navigating the systems and getting through those. Insurance is still a big battle of ours.
Gotcha.
It's a battle of everybody's. That's not new. It seems to be it does seem to be getting a little worse. I would bet 50% of the patients on our wait list actually can't even come to treatment because of payment issues. So that's another hurdle that is on the top of my list. We are working with somebody at the state level to see if there's something we can do about that with block grants and things like that. We are working on our SAMHSA and OTP accreditation. I've talked about the MAC clinic before, I believe. I could be definitely wrong. But another service that we want to offer is Medicaid assisted treatment. I do that already with a lot of clients, but there's another level that we don't offer. Nobody does in this area. Carol does have a clinic in Newark, but I turn a lot of patients away that are wanting those services, and that's just been something we looked at a couple years ago. It just wasn't the right time. However, these grants, we were able to get the additional costs funded through that. It's a part of them, not all of them, but part of them. So we will have that opening up, and we'll offer another layer of service to our counties. So.
Just throwing it out, opioid funds, is it a way we can make that work for people that have no other way? Is that what it's out there for?
It technically is.
Okay.
It does take a large chunk of, I can't say I will throw this out there. I haven't had somebody specifically from Crawford County that couldn't find a way to pay, or I would bring it.
Okay, all right, because we've had those funds and we've been looking for the perfect way to really make a difference with them.
If there was somebody local.
Okay.
That didn't have a way to pay, I'd bring it to the
Okay,
table.
very good. Just throw that out.
Yes, yes,
If it just takes one.
yeah, but yes, most of our local people, we've found ways to get things taken care of. It's more the urban areas
Okay,
is where those referrals typically come from without a way to pay.
got it.
But our local ones, we're finding avenues for them so far. And if we don't, we'll bring that to the table.
All right.
For things, but
That's
yes,
what we're
so far our local, we're getting definitely a leg up in some other areas. Focusing on
All right,
what we can do locally, so
one
yes,
patient at a time.
one person at a time, one day at a time.
Yes.
How we do that, so don't have a whole lot of updates, we're still navigating all this stuff, but the transportation was kind of that was a big excitement win for myself, because that was a really hard one that I felt like telling people that we have the service, but you have no way to get here and we have no option for you was really hard for me, so.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And
That one has been one of my personal battles over the last couple of
you
years, so.
untangled the knots.
Yes, so that's kind of exciting for me. Like I said, we have a full-time driver who really enjoys doing it. Currently, we have patients from Denison, Bailey, and Schleswig. That are the 3 areas in Crawford County we're picking patients up for our outpatient services at various times of the week and day. All of them are coming at least twice a week. So those are the 3 towns in Crawford. Outside of that, we're just trying to be out there more. One of the things that we have implemented, my marketing team is putting out a newsletter, an emailed newsletter that hopefully will be coming out in the next week or so. I have signed Jean up for it already. She'll be seeing that
All right.
come to her email, but if anybody else would like it, I can reach out to
I'll
Terry
share it.
for emails as well, but just something to kind of keep. I get newsletters from other facilities. It's a great idea. It kind of helps me know what's going on in other facilities. So our marketing team is going to do the same. It'd be just a once a month update on, hey, this is what's going on. This is where we have things coming, and our contact information. I think the biggest thing on there is just let us know.
Has the newspaper contacted you about doing an article that you're now opening, Denison?
I did do an article. The catch is with the state and federal funding, we are very limited on what we can say in the newspapers. So I did do an article, and I apologize, I can't remember his name. Probably 2 weeks ago, my marketing team did approve it.
Gordon Wolf?
That does not sound right.
Dan Hunt.
Dan,
Good.
That was my second guess.
yes, so
Everybody else is a female.
Right.
We only have two
Yeah.
choices.
Right.
I do think that is the gentleman, and my marketing
Probably.
team did approve it, and we sent it back to him,
Good.
so.
Okay, nice.
Definitely above my writing skills to make sure we don't violate any regulations with the federal government on what we can and cannot say.
That's Shelley helping you with
Yeah,
it.
Shelley's doing it, Shelley and the Katies, Katie Lang and Katie Weiss are kind of the two that
Katies?
cover, yes, the Katies. So we have a large marketing team that do a lot of stuff for us, and they are working on actually putting together some stuff specifically for the Denison location currently right now, for us to get a little bit more things out and stuff when I go visit people. I don't like to go empty handed. So like I need some PR boxes to take a good chocolate to bribe people with. I don't know. Get in the good graces when I go, but for the most part, anybody that's around here, the Rotary, we have the Rotary, I feel like in May or June, we finally got into their schedule coming.
All right, we're always looking for somebody.
So that's, yeah,
That's good.
the Rotary, we had quite a few, they didn't have many dates, they were busy, which is great, so.
Sometimes people back out.
Yes,
And
yeah,
then we're looking for-
so I've been talking with the city gal, the gal at the city, Jess, yes,
I think I got right.
about getting into there, so just trying to be out there, be present. And then Darren's up here, like I said, 2 days a week. We always have 2 staff in the building. I know that's one thing I've always said.
Mhm.
Not always another counselor. Nika does Wednesdays, so her and Darren are up here together on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays, one of my senior team or myself or one of my other co-counselors, one of us are up here just kind of to be a second presence for safety, but Darren is pretty much leading the show up there, so.
How do you remember Wednesdays to bring donuts?
Yeah, so yes, yeah, Nika and Darren are staffing the Wednesdays for the most part, so it's good that they be the presence between prevention and stuff like that, and kind of go from there with Nika always talking to the schools, and she works with Denison School on and off, so.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
Any other
very much.
questions or anything?
Taya. Thank you. Welcome here anytime.
Absolutely. I'm sure I'll be back in a couple months for an update, if not other things.
All right.
Send me an email.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great day. No one's gonna take it out.
You're fine.
Raya.
Patiently
Good
waiting.
morning.
So nice to have you this.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me this morning. I just wanted to stop by and give a quick CDC update about things that have been going on. As you all know, I've stepped into the role of the executive director for the CDC. And one of my top priorities in my first 30 days is to kind of get a clear picture of all the projects that Paul had going on, and reaching out to you guys and the city, and just kind of starting to form those relationships and bring them all into my court. So a few things we've been working on chamber wise, continuing to we, as you guys know, we do 3 different things basically at the chamber: economic development, and tourism. Some chamber wise, we have been just focusing on continuing to support our members. And by we, I mean I, staff of 1 right now. So, continuing to support our members best we can. And then, tourism wise, we're kind of starting to really get into event season. So we're kind of heavy on event stuff right now, but we just had Manila Madness this last weekend. We had 34 people participate, a lot of surrounding county participation, and even some from Omaha. So that was a good little event. Kelsey Hippner, we didn't do it last year, and then Kelsey Hippner came and wanted us to do it again, and we partnered with her to make it happen. She actually bikes, so she kind of knows what she's talking about.
I missed him going by Donna Reed Road.
I know, yes, and we switched the route. Gosh, it always made me so nervous when they'd leave here in Denison and go on Donna Reed Road.
Yeah.
I'm scared to drive that with my car
Yeah,
sometimes,
well.
let alone a bike. So yes, we
Well,
switched it to started in Vail to Manila
Yeah.
and back, and I think that was a lot safer option. So
Yeah, I think so too.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
yeah, so just finished that, and then obviously we have Hot Summer Nights coming up. Denison wide and county-wide, we have citywide garage sale. We did it last year as just a citywide garage sale, but this year we're opening it up to the whole county. kind of run that under tourism, just because we're hoping it brings people to town, eat, get gas. that
That
sort of thing.
Dennison garage sales?
Yep, Dennison, and then we expanded it to the whole county. So it'll
So
be,
like Schleswig usually has,
yeah, they have their own, I know,
Okay,
so, basically what we'll do is if, let's say no one from Schleswig signs up, then Schleswig just won't be on the map.
okay, yeah,
But if, two from Charter Oak sign up, then
yeah.
Charter Oak will get to be on
Somebody
that, so
like
it just
Washington
kind of,
maybe.
yeah, Schleswig does a great job planning their own stuff and has that, some of those smaller towns, though, don't always have that person, so.
Got it.
And then we also have, so that's kind of what we have going on for tourism. And then economic development wise, kind of just, like I said, continuing to kind of form those relationships and kind of see what projects Paul was in and kind of bringing it all together. We do plan on doing a new strategic plan for all three of those things. So I'm hoping to kind of see what the county has even in your guys' strategic plan and how our economic development piece and yours connect. Because I think that's really important to make sure we are doing what, you guys want done as best as we can with the resources we have, of course. I think that's kind of what I have. Oh, I have take economic development. I have taken the steps to start becoming a certified economic developer through the International Economic Development Authority. It's basically you take a few years ago, I did that Heartland Economic Development course. So that's kind of the beginning, and then you have to have so many years of experience. So I've sent them my resume and hoping they approve it, and then you take a few classes and a test, and I think it just opens some more doors and opportunities. So kind of on the steps to making that happen. But yeah, after that, I want to get together with each of you individually, kind of see what your thoughts are. I haven't had time to do that yet. Like I said, kind of a 101 right now. We are hiring for a tourism and events manager. We are kind of restructuring everything a little bit. So we're going to outsource the finance part of everything. Hoping that kind of takes the burden off of someone's plate. I do that right now. I did previously also, and it does, take some time.
You're right.
Yes, so hoping to outsource that, and then hopefully we get someone hired here soon. And
Tourism and event coordinator would be a full-time position?
yes,
Okay.
yep, a full-time position. Yep, so we're gonna.
Does that kind of mean that you'll be more focused on development?
Yes, my plan is to, then me be focused on development, and that new person focuses on all the events, chamber and tourism, and then also more outreach with our members, and kind of making sure their benefits are being met and they're satisfied. So yes, once we get that person hired, I'm hoping to kind of give them that piece, and then I can focus more on the development side. So if you know anyone looking for a great fun job,
Do you have
send them my
applications?
way.
Do you have any applications at this
We
time?
have 3.
Okay.
And I haven't interviewed anyone yet. I'm hoping next week to get some interviews done, and after that we can kind of see. I have stuff out there on Indeed though, and Facebook. I put some money behind it on a Facebook ad, so hoping it reaches some more people. But it's only been posted for a week too, so it's early.
That right person's out there.
Yes, I hope so. But yeah, that's kind of my update. Do you guys have any questions?
I look forward to having you reach out to us. And
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
have a-
Yeah, I am too. So
Absolutely, yeah.
we'll get that done, and yeah.
Keep the good things going.
I didn't know Mariah was on your agenda. I encouraged her to apply, and I've given her some ideas, maybe a golf tournament in Manila or a golf tournament in Schleswig. In our industry, we're doing trap shooting in the morning and a 9-hole tournament afterwards, so people aren't all day at one thing. Support her, help her find the right person. We need consistency in that office. We all know that.
Yep.
And so I personally met with Mariah on a tour and said, yeah, so.
Yes,
hopefully
KR pulled me aside and was like, you really need to stay.
Yeah.
Um,
But we need to look at Crawford County Chamber and Development and do those things in those communities so that Schleswig realizes that we're representing Schleswig, the Manila Golf Course. We could get more sponsors down there, Because tourism, as you know, is very important to me, but it helps with the economic side too, so, yeah. I didn't know she was gonna be here today.
Thanks, KR. All right, well, I
Thank
said I
you.
was gonna make it quick, so,
Appreciate you.
yes, thank you guys very
Sitting
much.
around waiting.
Oh, of
You got our
course.
numbers.
I looked through some emails, so. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
So next south parking lot project, is that one of the reasons you're here?
No,
No?
no, I'm here for the public forum,
Okay.
but I'll listen.
Okay.
I put this on the agenda just to bring it out in the public for transparency and I really didn't know as far as I sent everybody the email that I forwarded, asked Colin about the bid processing or whatever, what we needed for that. And you know, I think everybody read it.
Yep.
It's low enough that we really don't need a
second.
I mean, the least we would
Yeah.
potentially need would be another quote if we want to. It's up to the board. I mean,
You know of any other company you'd want, we could reach out to? I mean, the only one that came to my mind was that High Concrete,
Yeah.
of course.
so
But when they don't bid, you assume that they're probably
that's
busy.
the one
We have a quote.
we have
from
a
them.
quote from them. And they're the ones that designed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we would choose.
So, I'm fine with the way it is.
Right.
That's kind of in the ballpark of what we expected.
So I think it's best we just have it in a public meeting, discuss that this is the path we're going down.
That we didn't get two bids, and we're not required to get two bids.
No, it's under the threshold, the
Of
Iowa code that we don't need it.
Right.
Uh,
It was what, between 67,000 and 100?
it's- So
What needs to be done.
it needs to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, when we bought the. when we
That's
bought the
our
property,
intention when we bought it.
the city had already made known that you need to replace the sidewalks. And.
Right.
And this will fix all that. I mean, we can get another quote. If we want.
Is that all we're fixing, is the sidewalk? I thought
No,
we're
no,
doing
that
the
was,
park.
Paved the whole
So-
parking lot.
I mean, I think at that time, the estimate, just to fix the sidewalks was going to be,
The bids in. Oh, you got it right there.
Yeah,
God, I don't know.
I
You
looked,
said, okay.
when you went to, when you started talking about sidewalk, I thought we were doing.
What?
Does it have a potential start date or anything like that?
Between May and October is when we're on there. Nothing solid yet, but it's in the 27 budget.
So I mean,
I
if you.
spoke with my friend about it.
So if we was to break, I'm just hypothetical, if you was to break the projects apart and did the sidewalks and stuff, you're gonna probably have. I would say easily. Would you have a third of the project just fixing sidewalks and still have a crappy parking lot?
It's a crappy parking lot.
And then, so we're throwing it
Well,
all
we
in
gotta do
one.
something
how
on
do you-
Willie's side, because that's the house side.
And then we're gonna have a nice parking lot and a nice sidewalk, so we're all done. And then the city won't.
I mean, is there any action that we need to approve? Do we need to approve the bid?
I think we should.
Yes, usually you do.
Right, I didn't know if we had already
You have not.
done that.
To
I
take
didn't
action,
know.
so we.
Yeah.
Okay,
We do, I don't think we ever did. We been talking with Terry, we had it on the agenda maybe back in January, so we could put it, make sure we got it in the budget at the time.
Well, it was on there for approval, for discuss and take action. The only comment was to add it to the budget. And there was, other than that, there was no action taken
Okay.
at that time.
all right.
So,
So we should approve it today. and give-
We're at approve the bid and the bid amount.
So I would make.
I'll entertain a motion for this to that effect.
I'll make the motion to approve the south parking lot project in the amount of $84,176.65.
Support. From,
10-point construction.
motion by Kyle, is there
Support.
support? Second by Ty. Any further discussion?
thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Chair votes aye, motion carries. alcohol license renewal for the 5 Mile House.
That was in our
That's
packet.
all in order, yeah.
That was in the packet.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Motion by Gene, second by Dave. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Appointment member to the MSAC committee. We do have a person that has willingly said they would serve, and that is Ken Blair. And so I guess you would entertain a motion to that effect. Gene, do you want?
No, I talked to Ken and he's all in. He thinks it'd be something he'd be.
Be a good member.
Yeah, and so he was just wondering when it was, and it's usually in the evenings, and that works for him. Just make sure you let him know, and he'll be a good member. So,
Great addition to it.
yeah.
I agree. Good job.
There you go.
Is that your motion?
Gene.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve
You
Ken
learned,
Blair.
Dave.
Yeah.
Motion by Gene,
Second.
second by Kyle. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
Board is cool.
Since Nate's not here, we'll just open up for citizens input. KR, thank you for waiting all this time. Appreciate it.
I do, well, I can do this, sorry to cut you off there. But on the agenda item for the juvenile detention center, I did speak with Nate this morning. I have notes from that conversation. We can take it in whatever order you guys want.
So since KR's been here for an hour and a
Sure.
half, can I just let him
Of
go?
course, I don't take
Okay.
5 minutes and
Okay.
rebuttal.
All right.
You heard the proposal from Ben Wallace and Michelle Bauman from the DNR about Yellowstone. You know my history out there, but I am opposed to using cabin funds or any money that goes towards the lake. There's over, I think, previous donors have left a significant amount in the Friends of Yellow Smoke account that's just sitting there and may never be used. That cabin fund was set up for maintaining what you have and more cabins. If there's $250,000 in there, why aren't we building more cabins? If we start to take a little out of that fund, we all know what's gonna happen. You guys just talked about budgeting. When that lake's drained down, there's a chance that the camping fees won't be what they are now. I think you're gonna see a decrease, maybe not. Looking outside the box, maybe look at increasing your camping fees now with earmarking that $2 or $3 for this project. It's gonna be a phenomenal project. Our grandkids are gonna have a beautiful lake out there. But I think that's the easy way to fund a portion of the monies that are gonna be needed to get this started.
What kind of money does the Friends of Yellow Smoke have?
Well, I know, one, couple donated $150,000 for a project that didn't happen out there, and it's not me and my wife, it's another couple. I know I put some money in there to help try and take care of what we did with the bird cleaning station or bird feeding station. I don't think that money was ever used, but I think there's a significant amount there that if that staff and maybe a supervisor approached that couple and did some naming recognition or something for this long term, I don't think that money should just sit there, but I am totally opposed of taking money away from the cabin fund, which if you looked at the cabin rentals at both parks, they're busy all the time. You know, you maybe look outside the box on that and build a bigger lodge that has that basement with it, under it, that could maybe alleviate some of the issues about no shelter out there for the campers, but
Good idea.
I am adamantly opposed of, because when you're gonna take a little out of that fund, it's gonna be easy the next time if you're a little short to take out of that fund. If that money is sitting in the Friends of Crawford County, which is a nonprofit actually, I don't know.
Who's in
the
charge of
balance.
that?
I don't know if, huh?
KR, who's in charge of that? Who's the person that is the president of that organization?
I don't know if Terry, if anybody knows who.
Last I knew, I think Jody Head and
Sonnyson?
were, I think
That seems
we're
right.
the only two members left on it, I think.
Yeah,
They could be.
In fact, there was an individual from Manila, but I don't think they were on there anymore. I can't remember. But now that we talked about that, right?
you know, my other comment on that is you're gonna buy the director a new vehicle, is that right? And I'd like to know what he uses his vehicle for. I just see it going back and forth from his residence out there. If you're gonna buy a new vehicle, give it to Kelly, give him Kelly's. Kelly's on the road. Y'all see her Facebook page. She's out there doing with these kids 24/7. I mean, I don't understand why a county employee needs a vehicle to drive back and forth that way anyway, but, those are my 2 cents. I just want you guys to realize, I don't know if there's bylaws on the cabin fund that says what it's earmarked for, if that was set up.
Cabin fund seems to make one believe it's designed for cabins,
Right,
would make it pretty.
right, and like I said, once you take a little out of that, I will tell you, those 2 DNR staff, as you know, my position with the commission, they are excellent.
I was just gonna ask you what you thought of the presentation, because I thought it was phenomenal.
And Michelle, when they give you those drawings and she gives you the plan, that lady is unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, she doesn't just build it, she goes back year after year to make sure it is what it is.
You can tell they're passionate.
Yeah.
It will make, hopefully, the park shine. It needs it. The water quality has gone down, the fishing has gone backwards because of it too, you know, but, I just have a problem when you take money out of, if you earmark money for the landfill, and all of a sudden you needed some, for something else, and you take a little, you can always go back to that landfill fund. If we have literally over $100,000 sitting in a friend's account, I think those people need to be approached, you know, before you, this is gonna cost the county, you heard the percentages, it's probably gonna be close to $500,000 at least by the time it goes to design, you know? And it's needed, but,
It is.
so I didn't know all the other things were on the agenda.
Thank you, KR.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Taking my time. Those of you that
Appreciate the input.
Sunday's event, I think it was a good event.
Thank you.
Got her plugged in.
Okay,
Thanks, KR.
with that, go ahead, I guess.
I don't have, I was just gonna give these guys a hand for showing up Sunday.
Okay.
Okay, well then Eileen, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank all of you guys that stayed till the bitter end to participate in that little forum. That was just awesome, and I think very informative for the people that got to hear you. Thank you.
Thanks for all
Appreciate
you
it.
do to make those events happen. I know it's a lot of work, but I think it's very important that we get the word out and people can vote with an education of who they're voting for, and getting everybody there was
The whole
a challenge.
Educate people and then make them show up. to
Yeah.
vote.
There's a lot of people that don't even know who's running for governor, you know,
That's
so.
so correct.
get-
I
get-
mean, one thing, Eileen, that seemed like if you're in charge, if you're the one that's coordinating everything, we all know it's gonna work out and it's gonna be a good show.
Oh,
So,
great, you're so nice to
Thank you.
say that. Not always, there's some glitches, but it looked good Sunday. I thought it was wonderful too.
That was good.
Colin,
Central Iowa Detention Juvenile
Okay.
Detention Center.
right.
Ty, you had some follow-up questions about member versus non-member rates. What priority, if there is a priority list, will a non-member.
so
non-active-
Colin, just I didn't mean to interrupt
Oh,
you,
no,
but you just mentioned when you came in that you did talk to Nate.
Yes,
Nate is not gonna be able to be here today, is that?
he's home with the sick
Okay,
family,
all right.
so.
So some of this information you're giving us, you got from Nate to give to
Yes,
the board?
I saw.
Okay, all
Nate typically does not use Eldora, the Central Iowa unit. We use the one closer to home up in Cherokee, but he does like the option of being part of that network to use Central Iowa Detention Center because it's a high-risk unit. And if he has a high-risk kid, he needs a place to put, if needs. Or if there needs to be a separation or a conflict, you can't put 2 kids in the same place because they have too much conflict. He likes having this, as he calls a safety net, have it in his back pocket. And he said he reached out to some of the other JCOs in the former member category, same as Crawford County. There's about, 8 of them, 10 of them. It's listed in the 2080. And a lot of those counties, for what it's worth, are doing the same thing. The remaining non-members, but joining 28E just to have that option if they need it. So, yeah, his notes here, it doesn't happen often that he'll need to place a kid there, but if he needs it, he wants, it's a safe net, he would like it. Of course, whether or not the county wants to be a voting and equity member is entirely up to the board to decide. I reviewed the 28D and also the bylaws. I also ran it by Martha because she runs the juvenile court, so she would be the one filing actions to place kids. The 28E is, there's a couple typos, but nothing fatal.
You would catch those.
It does what it needs to do. The bylaws are pretty standard as far as members, rotation. There is a provision for the chair of to replace the executive director if necessary. And I think the history of that place, I think that jumped out to me as specifically addressing some of, you know, what the members would have found. I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
You're doing great.
Good luck.
To address, you know, maybe some of the wrongs that happened out of that place in the past with the director.
We know what you're
Or
trying to say.
perceived wrongs, and so that is in place to kind of protect the members and protect the group. As far as Ty, your specific concerns of member rates,
I mean, so there's a cost to be a voting member of that 2080 agreement.
it costs $1 per county population as
Last census.
determined on the last census. And there is a provision, if you want to be a voting and equity member, you can have 5 years to pay off that fee. So you would just split it up annually over 5 years if you wanted to. There's no
Is that a
requirement.
one-time fee? I mean, where they won't charge anything after that, you make that payment?
That's
it.
what it is.
And then it locks you into that,
What's that?
and it locks you into the fees.
Unless there's something-
Right. I suppose it'd be similar to what happened with the Yes Center. I think the county, Crawford County back at that time, that was a payoff debt because the director embezzled some money, but I think it was $20,000 back.
That's
in-
what you get for being in the equity side of it.
Yeah.
The part that Colin brought up that's favorable, because we were a member, and there was a couple of the other counties, like Dubuque County, their bill to be back an equity member again was gonna be extremely high, because there are a lot more population. And she didn't think that they'd wanna pay it, but ours is 16, I mean, 16 and a half, just call it that. I mean, you divide that by 5 years, that's a palatable number if we want to be the equity. The thing is we'll be able to still retain the going rate of a equity member. We won't have to pay any more.
What's the
As long-
difference in the rates?
Well, it's-
I don't know the difference between member and non-member, but if Crawford County wants to remain a former member, we retain the benefit of member rates.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the difference is, but we would get the same rate as members. And that's it, I confirmed this morning, that's in perpetuity. Now, that's not to say the rates won't change. It's that if the rate does change, it changes for everybody. So if members would also be subject to the change in rate. And as far as priority between non-members, former members, and full members, I reached out to Cassie Ruth, who's gonna be the new director, and the first thing she said is, it's gonna be a rare occasion that they run at full capacity. So there will be, she wanted to emphasize, it would be rare to have to decide a priority in the first place. But if there does come that moment, then non-members would have to, would there be priority for former members and members over non-members? So I said, okay, so it seems like there is a priority. Now, what if there was this unlikely scenario where the entirety makeup of the detention center was only members and former members? And no non-member children there at all. So what would give way in that scenario? And she said, well, again, unlikely, so I want to emphasize that. But it would be that the member would take priority over a former member county. But it's not like, you know, come pick up the child at 5 o'clock tonight. They said they would make arrangements with the county's JCO to find a new placement. And then if a bed space opened back up, even in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, then you could get the child back in. So there is a slight priority list. But again, she wanted to emphasize that it's unlikely that that scenario would ever change.
So what's our current classification? We are a former member.
We are a former member. We can opt in as a full member.
The rates that they charge us are different than an equity member or,
No.
no, the rates are the same.
But you don't
It's
get.
different than a non-member rate.
Okay.
And I don't have those rates in front of me.
I believe it's $150 a bed day for members.
So that's really our two options. We buy in and get a voting member and priority.
Because being a former member is still a tool in his toolbox to
Right.
use.
Or stay
A former member does have benefits of getting locked in the same rate as a full member, but it's without the equity and without the voting.
And also the liability. You won't have the liability.
Right, that's what was gonna be my question, what
Yeah.
liability comes with being an equity
Actually, I did
member,
ask that to Kyle and.
things like
Keith,
that.
Right.
You
And
know,
they
you
both
talk
gave me the
to-
same answer.
What's
As
that?
far as-
Say that
We
again?
wouldn't have the liability because we weren't a full member. Let's just say Tony would have, like if they had up there where they embezzled a bunch, we won't have to kick any money in because we're not a full member.
Right.
But you don't get to vote.
But you don't get a vote, so you're like Gene at mental health, you show up and wonder why you're even there.
I am confident, we had this conversation, the turnaround that it's been from when we voted no about joining it years ago with the direction of the board and a new director.
So that's really on
Night and
pat.
day difference in
Oh,
what
it
it was.
was.
There are some outstanding supervisors over there that have really got a hold of this. And that Cassie that he mentioned, she's really sharp too.
My argument is for just having that tool lay in the toolbox. It's like having a $500 snap-on tool in your toolbox that you may use once every
Torque wrench.
5 years.
I agree.
Do you spend that
It's
money?
important to have it if you need it.
Why not just borrow that tool from the neighbor once in a while? That's my point.
Well, that's just it, is
I agree.
do we need to be a full member?
Doesn't seem like it makes
I
any
don't
sense
think
to be a
it-
full
you know, with
member. to me.
budgets as tight as they're
I
gonna
think it just,
be.
I think we.
I'm trying to stay out of it so you guys can decide here, because I already know where I'm
I like
at.
the former member benefits.
I think that's fine.
I mean, it happens at the S Center all the time, non-members they get shipped. I
Yeah,
mean, they do not get just turned loose.
Yeah.
They get shipped to another detention center.
Mhm.
They work that out.
and you don't know what your fee's gonna be when you're at a non-member detention center.
But we can do everything we need without having to be a full member.
Right. I mean, if he wants a tool in his tool belt
We're giving
and it
it.
doesn't cost us any money to do it, we can just continue what we're doing. I don't see the point of spending the $16,500.
I agree.
And even with Ty not being a voting member, I'm sure he will get his opinion across to what two are.
Nah.
I mean, Ty, since you're there now that you kind of know how we feel, what are your thoughts?
Well, I actually, you're right there where I'm at. If we used it a lot, I mean, we haven't sent anybody over there for an evaluation or anything. I mean, I don't see the value in being a member when we can get the same fee.
Right, the big thing's the fee. If it was. a
If the
big
fee went
difference.
up, then I'd be a little bit different. But, I mean, I just don't. I mean, if we got a good person on that board to make some noise, but I mean, heck, I make noise and just on the Zoom calls, so I mean, just, well, that's exactly why this is working out this way, is because that last Zoom call I sent over there, I kind of made a stink about rates and all that kind of stuff, and, who's paying the fees to get back in and who's doing what, and this was their solution.
Right. I mean, yeah, I was just did a quick, if we were a non-member, and we had to pay $150 a day, it'd take us 110 days to get to 16,500, and we haven't had anybody there for how many years since we had somebody there?
If we're the voting,
But now, since we're a former member, we could keep that status. It makes perfect sense.
if they're a non-member, it might be $250 a day.
Okay,
I don't remember what that non-member fee is. I know that was I'm pretty sure it was 150 a bed day now. We'd actually switched that around because we had the exigent child and all that stuff, and all that's went away. And so we don't have that anymore. It's just a $150 flat bed day fee. And I believe that takes care of all of it. There's no extra fees in that, other than transportation or something.
So do you know, or Colin, do you know as far as Nate's thought on, he just wanted it to have the availability to use it? He didn't have any thoughts about spending the money and being a member? He didn't, no.
He understands it's entirely up to
Okay.
your discretion and whether or not. you
But
want to
this
do that.
leaves it in his toolbox if we're
Right.
not.
That's all
He
we
just
do.
asked that he wants to be part of the 28 in some way,
And
All right.
because he wants, as
So-
rare as it might be, it's important for him to have if he needs. it.
And if we do nothing, we'll still be a non-member. We don't have to take any action to do that, or do we
So you have to sign the 28E
sign the
to
20?
be part of the network.
Okay,
And then if you want to remain a former member, the provision says just don't make your initial payment and you automatically just default into former member status.
Right.
I
If you
think,
start paying money, then like, oh, they're gonna be a member.
it sounds to me like we have consensus of what direction we want to go.
right.
It's a
I think we
take
can
action
take
today.
action on it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Do we, who signs the 2080? Who do we authorize signing? Is that me, or is that, okay,
It's you.
so that's probably what the motion would be, right?
Yep, you're the one, you're
To
the one.
sign it
liable.
as a former member.
Right.
I would make that motion to sign as a former member and be part of the 28E.
Okay, motion by Gene,
Second.
second by Ty. You're thinking, Kyle, any
Yeah, I'm
discussion?
just thinking, that's fine. I think the action, yeah, just by signing it, that solves the problem.
Authorize.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, just make sure that we retain that non-member status. or
Former
previous
member.
Former member.
Former
status.
member.
Former member status, sorry. I think if we do that, you left Nate a toolbox, and like Cassie said, chances of getting bumped are very, very slim.
right,
Rate status.
So that was my biggest question was, would we get bumped? Because then we're gonna go somewhere where we don't even have a clue.
That
what the
needs to-
rate
Hey, Mark, I
Okay.
can bring one over.
Call the question.
Well,
I didn't know.
to be
questions
fair,
been called?
to be fair, we've seen all the rates in the state of Iowa. Hope County don't take anybody else's kids.
Yep.
They're the highest one in the state.
Yep.
So, I mean, the chances of being higher than the Yes Center, which is basically the rates are pretty well even across the state of Hope County.
Yeah.
So.
True.
Question been called for by Dave. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Okay, good.
Move on to further citizen input. Elaine, since you're still here, is there anything you wanted to addition? Okay, anybody on Zoom have anything? I guess we just got Tony and looks like Mr. G
Or Mrs. G.
or Mrs. G.
Just Michael.
Michael,
Oh, I can't.
I guess I
I
didn't
got
see
the
that
wrong
either.
glasses today.
If not, entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Moved in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.